We're different people. But in today's day and age, we got to make Johnny, everybody, forget about striving to be excellent in this country, because don't want to hurt their feelings. Don't want to, don't want to hurt Johnny's little feelings. So we got to give him we got to give him a go. There's nothing wrong with patting someone on the back and saying, good job, work harder, aspire to be that person. But apparently the Democrats feel that that's not appropriate in this country anymore. So what they do is they just, lump everybody in. But then the problem is you don't get it. We talk about American exceptionalism. Putin talked about it last week. He wasn't talking about American exceptionalism. He was talking about American arrogance. And when I say American arrogance, there's a lot of people that are walking around here going, and stuff. They don't know. They didn't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And so, but that's what you get when you get a community organizer in your office, so that falls solely on your thing. So let's talk about, get back to the healthcare, and the blaze. So going back to the technology, the Department of Better Technology, DOBT, I wonder if they have a czar. I wonder if he was appointed. Who knows? I don't know. I do the research, which builds software for the government. So this is the organization that's internal to the United States government, and they're in charge of doing like the little software. They don't do the bigger projects. They got to save those projects for, for the donors and all that stuff and their companies and the payouts. But this is a company called the Department of Better Technology, not a company, but an organization within the government. I hope they got approval to this. They might not have been allowed to work, to get that $5,000 fine, but that's another story and stuff. I kid, but no, really. This is what they said. The glitches and problems plaguing the website of the Obamacare exchange represents a bigger cancer within the bloated federal government, according to the Department of Better Technology, DOBT, which builds software for the government. This refutes the idea that higher cost implies better quality and effectiveness. The Obamacare exchange, which debuted last week, are not as user-friendly as the President Barack Obama's campaign website. So the site that he crammed down our throats, that he made us use or is making us use, the one that he gets campaign money from, that works beautifully. I'm sure that check will, I'm sure your user registration at his campaign site, at the DNC's campaign site, I'm sure that goes through and that works perfectly. But the one that he crammed down our throat, I still can't log in. I tried it the other day. The Obamacare exchange costs more to develop than that site and others like Facebook and Twitter, with a price tag of more than $634 million. Using a Breaking Bad analogy, DOBT wrote that worrying about fixing healthcare.gov is a bit like giving Walter White cough syrup and expecting it to solve his problems. Now, I've never watched, newsflash, never watched Breaking Bad. I do know apparently there's a character that has cancer, and that's what leads to a lot of his things. So there you go. Obama's own organization, DOBT, is saying the site is just flawed. We're hearing that from experts. They're saying the design, the implementation, it's completely just needs to be scrapped and redone and stuff. So, but it looks like the good news for the president, it looks like there's going to be some guys at the NSA that are going to be looking for jobs. I don't know if you guys heard this, but apparently yesterday or 2 days ago, the NSA had a major fire in their Utah center, destroying, several computers. Now, of course, it's all secret. They won't let us know. I have to ask myself, gotta wonder, what was on these servers? What was on these servers? But apparently they went up in flames. So I'm sure there's gonna be some guys without jobs, that are gonna probably be looking. So that's it. The NSA just just keeps getting worse for these guys. NSA veterans are coming out. Now, let me tell you something. There's probably an organization in the United States that you do not want to upset. There's a couple organizations But the NSA and the CIA is probably not one. They have done things in the past, and I'm sure they have plans in the future that don't look good for certain individuals. So it's not an organization that you really want to upset. You got to remember, Mr. President, these are the guys that are listening to emails, that are listening to phone conversations. So I can imagine the dirt that they would have on some of your constituency. And you really don't, just warning, don't want to upset those guys. You're only there as long as you're elected. They're usually there, a lot longer and stuff. But apparently, NSA veterans are now concerned the White House is hanging us out to dry. Article written by Shane Harris in the foreignpolicy.com website. It says that General Keith Alexander and his senior leadership team at the National Security Agency are angry and desperated by what they see as a White House failure to defend the spy agencies against criticism of its surveillance programs. This is the thing. It's that whole, got to blame someone. Mr. President, he's an expert at it. He knows how to do it, people. It's always, it's George Bush's fault. It's this fault, it's that fault. It's that whole deniability thing that goes on. And so, but he's an expert. He gave these guys the marching orders. If he didn't, then it's, someone needs to go to prison. But I'm pretty sure that this guy was given the orders. The NSA is getting direct orders from the President of the United States or his staff, which i.e. would be the President of the United States. So the reality of it is now these guys went, they marched, the good citizens that they felt that they were, they are now being hung out to dry. Let that be a lesson to you, people. If you are ever in a position, or if you ever, I know we got a lot of military listeners and people out there that, that have the opportunity to go in those positions. I will tell you that if you're ever in that position, you better join Oath Keepers. You should join Oath Keepers anyways. But the reality of it is that you will be asked to do things that you consciously will not do. Now, of course, being a good soldier, you're going to do it. But, you got to ask yourself. Is this what I want to do? You have to answer that. Only you can and yourself know what you would do in that situation. I know what I did. I know what I'll continue to do. That's why I have a podcast now. And I'm not doing what I used to do. So the reality of it is that you got to ask yourself. Have that gut check, as they would say. So we're actually running out of time. Oh my gosh, we are going to go to a 2-hour format, but I did want to talk about this. If you guys haven't heard, Fresno mail carrier fired for throwing away junk mail. It's funny. I'm laughing. It was handouts for Obamacare. Yep. It's at Fresno, California. Fresno mail carrier has been fired for throwing away mail. The United States Postal Service says the mailman admitted he threw away letters about Obamacare. Called it junk mail, threw it out. Oh, hopefully we can get that man a job somewhere. Obviously too, let's talk about, Barney Fife. I don't know. I grew up on Andy Griffith, man. Great show. Loved it as a kid, but the character in Don Knotts, Barney Fife, given one bullet Barney, as he was called. The funny thing about that is actually we should feel sorry for some of these park police. They typically their day before the shutdown consisted of, hey, nothing to see here, move along, pick up the trash. Every once in a while they get a rabid squirrel, stuff like that. And now they've been thrown into the spotlight. They were basically given orders because no other law agency would do it. The reality of it is no other law agency would do it. So the park rangers were thrown in by the president. That whole throw them under the bus, people. But the whole park rangers were set out to do the dirty deed, and now it's coming back on them. These people got to live in the communities that they're offending, and you now have a showdown going down in Yorktown, Virginia. The showdown of Washington has now become a battle of Yorktown. Dun, dun, dun. In a place where American fought the final battle of independence, one American businessman is refusing to bow to pressure to close up shop during the shutdown. His story is just one example of the many views as the Obama administration widespread overreach during the government gridlock. So they're calling it the Battle of Yorktown. Glenn Hesh loves serving up food at his Carrot Tree Kitchens restaurant in historic Yorktown. I'm putting it on the list. I'm going to go there. I'm going to eat if he's not out of business because of the shutdown. So he's basically telling the Park Service, forget about it. You know, we're not going to follow your draconian ways. But once again, you know, you got to feel sorry for these guys. You know, they're in the spotlight. They don't know what to do. Like I said, this is completely out of their realm. A real good friend of mine always used to say, "Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane." And you know what? He's right. He's right about that. Just stay in your lane. You know, don't try to do something that you're not doing, that you're not supposed to be doing. So, you know, here you go. Here's someone for all those. This normally we don't talk about overseas politics and stuff, but this is someone's losing their job. And I don't know what you do, how you lose your job from the Vatican, what happens to you. I don't think it's any good. Maybe you become a priest in some place, but you know, to them that's a good thing. But apparently there was a medal that was given out from the Vatican City, and someone spelt Jesus' name wrong. They spelt it with an L versus a J. So that's kind of interesting, you know. That's a dope moment. So at the Vatican City, someone's probably looking for a job or doing penance. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I don't even know who my Lord and Savior name is. Oh, here you go. Here's a little political watch for you. Alec Baldwin, for those that don't know, I know him from the credit card commercials, which I don't like, by the way. But Alec Baldwin has said that he preps for a second act as a politician with the MSNBC show. So apparently, art becomes reality. Apparently, he's using his role as a politician in an MSNBC TV show to kind of get himself ready to run for a political office in the United States. Kind of scary. What's in your wallet? So, and also, you know, this is if that doesn't have concern, I don't know what. I know Alec is a big time conservative, supportive, but he's done some things. You know, I know that he's rallied. Well, he portrays, but you know, that's an act because you know he was part of that 99%er out there trying to rally them up against banks as he's cashing his check from Capital One. But one of the things that now this is scary, and we all know about this, or this gentleman, Mike Bloomberg, Time interview, kind of leaves it open that he's looking for higher office. It's a little scary. You know, the other thing too is, you know, obviously, you know, this is 90
seconds.
Oh, hey, she's talking in my ear. So this is some information that is kind of concerning. Feds collect $56 billion in taxes in 9 days of showdown. That's up from last year. So that even though we're shut down, we're still collecting more in taxes. You're listening to, that's about it. We're running out of time. So we'll wrap it up here. Obama, if you notice that there no healthcare questions at Obama presser, that was in
60
political.
seconds.
Investors Daily, we talked about that yesterday. GM, you know, doing subprime loans again to try to get their cars out the door. General Motors. Oh, also, this is concerning too, First Amendment rights, and we'll wrap up with this. Obama signs anti-protest trespass bill. In other words, basically, there's only certain areas that you can protest now on the nation's capital. Obviously, you can't do it in a lot of areas because they already did, but they even tightened it even more. First Amendment, first they'll corral you, then they'll kill you, you know, and stuff. So you've been listening to the Midnight Patriot radio show. If you want to get more information about us, go out to our website at www.themidnightpatriot.com. Join us on Facebook. You know, next week we're going to have a 2-hour show with 1-800 call-in numbers.
10 seconds.
So, and then we're going to get rid of that annoying voice in the background. So once again, this is Jeff Norton with the Midnight Patriot radio show. Good evening, America.